What is up, guys? It is your friend, your coach, your business partner, Delana McCory, and I'm taking you guys on my journey to go from $0 to 100 million as I build my real estate business and my YouTube channel. And what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is the conversations and the things I learned from a drunk businessman. Yes, you heard me right. A drunk businessman. I recently went to a business meetup and I got the opportunity to meet some interesting people and kind of mingle and at least attempt to network. But the most important person that was there that day was Ron. And Ron was a successful businessman. He told me that he made about $100K a month. Assuming that's profit, is probably going to be $1.2 million in revenue or in profit that he's actually brought in. Now, the reason me and Ron got to talking was because this event was absolutely dead. And I'm going to warn you, when you go to networking events, when you go to so many meetups and stuff like that, you are going to run into duds. Every now and then, it's either going to be unorganized, it's going to be just a bad experience in general. But you have to put your foot in. You have to try to make light or make opportunities out of stuff that is going to look like it has no opportunities. And that's kind of where I stumbled upon Ron, and I met Ron. Ron was an older businessman who was also drunk due to the title, but he did have some valuable insight, and I actually just listened to him talk, and he told me a lot of things. He told me that he makes about $100K a month, which I said, which will bring probably around 1.2 million, assuming that's profit. He also told me that him and his wife almost got a divorce due to his business. He told me that his kids wanted nothing to do with business just because he was gone so long and so many hours that they didn't really get the opportunity to grow up with him. So another thing you have to remember is that everybody's business experience is different. If you want to go into business and you want to avoid some of those mistakes that you see other business people make, you got to build those into your processes. You got to build those into your SOP, standard operating procedures, so that way you can kind of make that room and that effort to avoid some of those pitfalls that a lot of business people fall into. Some of them are just going to be unable to avoid if you want to get to a certain level, but that doesn't mean that other things have to suffer because you're working so hard. But let's get into it. I want to share some of the things that I learned and that Ron talked about, and I think it's really important. So we're going to try to break them down and we're going to just go through them. The first thing that Ron said is, as a business owner and as a person in charge of the company, you have to set the standard and the pace for your employees and for your entire company. And I think this is super important, especially at the beginning, because if you have expectations for how you want people to operate, how do you want them to work, you have to hold those standards so that way people can know what to do. But then also you have to enforce them and have the energy and the wherewithal to actually push those things so they happen. Because at the end of the day, if something isn't getting executed how you like and how you want, there's no one to really run to or to blame except for you, because you're the owner, you're the operator, and you're the person that's going to set these standards. Now, I would caution you, one of the things that I'm doing is setting these standards early so that way they can grow into what your company is going to become. Don't wait to set these standards once you have a bigger company, because then it's going to be a lot harder to implement those things, change them, and push them the way you want. So start implementing those things as you begin, the smaller, as you get one employee, as you're just working by yourself, as you get 4 employees, and so on. Build those things in now because they're going to be a lot easier to change. And one of the things I love that Logan Rankin said is, build your procedures and your system to withstand where you want to go, not what you currently have. And so I love that so much because, again, it's building for that trajectory and building for that higher standard. One of the other things that Ron said was that you can't take work home. Now, I agree with this to a certain extent. I understand that there has to be a balance and there has to be an in the moment thing, where if you're in the moment and you're currently doing something, your mind has to be focused on whatever that is, and then you can excel in other areas. But for example, if you're starting your business and you have a 9 to 5 like me, you don't have a choice but to bring your work home, which means that In order for me to get anything done, these YouTube videos, sending offers, submitting deals, like I have to do that work at home when I'm not at my 9 to 5. Again, this is going to be just a part of the process as you build. Now, again, to caveat that, if you're in a situation or you're hanging out with people or you're doing stuff outside of business, you need to be focused in on whatever you're doing and be present in that moment. Yes, as a CEO, as a business builder, and as an entrepreneur, you are going to have things weighing over your head as you're working, as you're doing other stuff, and things that you're going to constantly be thinking about. But you're doing a disservice to other people, your connections, your friends, your family, if you're constantly only worried about that and you're not tending to their needs, you're not opening up to them, and you're not creating a life that is outside of business. And Kevin O'Reilly, the business mogul, the guy who's on Shark Tank, the business guru that I like listening to a lot, he said that he only hires people that are multifaceted and that have other hobbies outside of the work that they do. Now, he said he's hiring dogs, people that can actually get the work done and do what they need to, but he also wants to hire people that have obsessions and passions outside of work. And again, my passion is I love fitness and I love YouTube. Again, that's why I post this a lot. Again, I post a lot of business content and different things like that. But again, I love shooting and editing videos, and I love like creating like movie-like scenarios. And I also love movies. I love cinema. I go out of my way to read reviews, watch YouTube videos, look at what directors do and want. That's one of my passions outside of it. So again, it doesn't mean that your passions can't coincide or cross sometimes, but what are you doing that is getting your mind outside of that business work, or relationships are you building that's getting you outside of business, giving you an opportunity to grow, and then take those skills and stuff like that and apply them to business and vice versa. So just keep that into your mindset too. Like, yes, I know that I said too, especially at the beginning, you have to take work home sometimes. I don't think that's possible. Okay, of course, unless you don't want to build something that is super big and super huge, then obviously that's you. Build your life and your business how you want it. But in order to get to that next level, there are going to be instances and times where you have to take that work home to execute and to get it done on the level that you need to get it done. But again, as you build systems, as you build operating things, you can further remove yourself from the business. But I think it's crucial in the beginning. And one of the last things I think is super crucial that Ron taught me, and he really emphasized this as he was half falling asleep, but he said that in order to do business, you have to be tough and you have to have thick skin. And he told me several different scenarios where people were in his ear, especially at the beginning, that he shouldn't do it, from his family members to his mom to his cousins to everybody. Just didn't want him to do anything with business because they thought that he might fail. And I've experienced this firsthand on my experience as well. I've had friends, family members, and people all over who told me don't do real estate and don't post videos because you're not going to make any money. And now I'm still working super hard to continue to prove those people wrong, but also to prove to myself that I can actually do it. And so that's why I'm posting these content, making you guys content, and doing stuff that I believe is going to change people's lives, but also build me the business that I want and build the life that I want for my future family and for the current family that I have, my immediate family, my siblings and my mom and dad, but then also for the future family that I'm building. I have to work hard, and I use those people as motivation to absolutely crush it and to build the things that I want. Because if you go ahead and just listen to everybody for your entire life, you're not going to build anything. You're going to be stuck doing the things that they are doing instead of actually making changes, making huge opportunities, and making huge moves into your life and what you think you can accomplish and what you can do. That's it. That's what I wanted to share with you guys. That's what I got from that meetup that I went to. That's what things that Ron taught me as a drunk business guy. And I wanted to share that with you guys because I thought it was super crucial. You turn those opportunities, those bad presentations, those bad meetings, those bad meetups into something that you can learn from and you can grow from. But I want to hear from you guys. What great advice or bad advice that you've gotten, either as life advice or as business advice? Put it in the comments below so I can hear it. And then We'll talk about it. We'll go on about it. Share anything that you guys want with your businesses. Any questions that you might have, I'll do a video on it. And as always, let's get to work. Go out there, be great. Check out some of these other videos while you guys are at it. Share this video with a friend if you thought you got some insight from it and you want to see what they have to say about it. Let's get to work.